Hello, Pravi.
Hi.
Um, Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's Tech Talk. I'm Aditya Bansal, Secretary of Khana House, and I thank you all for joining us today to discuss browser automation through open standards. I'm excited to introduce our speaker, Pallavi Sharma, a true expert in this field with 18 years of industry experience. Pallavi is a committer to the Selenium project, the de facto framework for web browser automation, author of multiple books on open source test automation, and an active speaker and organizer at international conferences. Today, she'll share her insights on how open source standards are transforming browser automation. A quick reminder to all to please keep your microphones muted during the talk and feel free to drop your questions in the chat and we'll discuss them in the Q&A session at the end. Without further ado, I'll hand it over to Palvi.
Thank you so much, Aditya. Thank you everyone for joining us today this evening. I'll start sharing my screen and hopefully you all will be. So, Aditya, I think I need permission to share the screen.
Yes, just a second.
Okay, right. Okay, one time try. No, not yet.
Just a second.
Sure.
And please try now once. It should work now.
Okay, not yet.
Could you rejoin once, ma'am?
Okay, sure, I will rejoin. Okay, I think I'm able to share the screen. Are you all able to see the slides?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's begin the session. So our session for today is browser automation with open standards. Thank you everyone for joining me today. My name is Pallavi Sharma. I have around 18 years of industry experience and I am committed to the Selenium project. I am a founder at Five Elements Learning and Mosaic Words. I'm a published author of multiple books on open source, primarily dealing with Selenium and Nightwatch and browser automation and all that stuff. And I have been working with startup organization when I started my career. After that, I went on teaching people on open source technologies, test automation, and primarily my teachings has been around Selenium. So, what we are going to cover today is about browser and automation. What exactly is a web browser? What do we mean when we want to automate it? What are the different open standards which are available for us to understand as to how a browser automation happens? We will be looking at few popular open source test automation tools, although please be aware that there are multiple commercial tools as well available using which you can achieve more or less the same thing. And some links we will see for learning and resources and end with question and answers. So, since Stone Age, as we all are very much aware that a man is or a human is trying to build a machine, and we can just not stop automation from happening. From stone age to the computer age and now to the AI age, we are hell bent on making a machine smart enough so that we can all rest, but that is yet to happen, and hopefully human will always be required in the loop. Having said that, let us talk about web browser. So for example, even right now we are talking and we are able to communicate with each other because a software has allowed us to talk to each other, and that's effectively a web browser. Is It's a software application which allows us to explore the world wide web, which is acting as an interface between the web server and the end user. The end user is, as of now, us, but could be other machines. The information is shared over the HTTP protocol, and then the HTML page, as we see, is rendered on the browser for the client to view. It is important that the web browsers follow the web standards which are defined by the W3C consortium. Why is it important? So that the experience of your application or any application which the people are building, which organizations are building, that experience should remain similar, and it should be independent of the underlying browser we are using to interact with that application. And that is why whenever an application is being built, it is crucial and important that it should be tested across all uh, web browsers. So browsers like Chrome, Firefox, Mozilla Firefox, same, Edge, Opera, Safari are all following the W3C standard. Now, whenever we look at a web browser, we have to understand that web browser as a software architecture has multiple components to it. Each component is working on one aspect of the browser. Whenever we are looking and trying to automate a web browser, we should try and select tool, or we should be aware when we are trying to select a tool, what part of the web browser is that tool automating. For example, some of the tools in especially in open source world which exists now, they automate only the browser engine part. They are not automating the web browser or working with the web browser as an end user would. When we work with the web browser, we work as an whole application. We don't see it separately as if there are separate components. So, depending upon what would be the scenario you would want your end users to have, and depending upon what is that you would like your application to behave, it is important that we test it as per our requirements. Now, whenever a web browser an application request is sent, which is received by a web server, different connections happen. For us it could be instant. We are used to getting things in an instant, in milliseconds or seconds. We want the browser to load our application and the request to go, but behind the scenes lot of actions are happening. Requests are sent to the server and then we receive the response back, all through happening through the HTTP protocol. Now, browser automation is a process in which we try to programmatically control the web browser to perform tasks without manual intervention. Common use cases or scenario where browser automation is required is one of the most common use case, and in my field it is testing and quality assurance. End-to-end testing, regression testing, cross-browser validation is crucial for this field. Web scraping is another popular area where people use browser automation and tools for browser automation. We would like to extract data, we would like to monitor content of our competitors, price tracking. In general, process automation, administrator task, form filling, report generation, repetitive task, which basically became popular as robotic process automation, is a part of browser automation. And then a lot of people would like to perform another aspect of testing when they are interacting with the browser, which is performance testing. We would like to see what's the performance of the browser, how much time is it taking, is it crashing if there is a lot of load, etc. So all are the different scenarios where browser automation, and there could be more, where we would like to programmatically control the web browsers. Now, it so happened that there have been lot of tools which were out there in the market in the early 90s and 2000, which were automating the web browser. One such tool was Water, which stood for Web Application Testing in Ruby. It was created by Brett Petticoat, and it basically automated IE at that time using Ruby as a programming language. And then came into picture Selenium, which was built by Jason Huggins. And the very first version of Selenium was quite powerful from the open source standards that time, because we could program using any programming language which that project supported, and there were multiple available like Java, C Sharp, Ruby, um, and you could automate your test across web browsers, across operating system. And that added to the popularity and the widespread acceptance by the community. We called it Selenium version 1, which in the later few years merged with another project which an independent person, Simon Stewart, was building, called as WebDriver. He figured out that using the browser's own interface, the web drivers of each browser, we can automate the browser. We can tell them what is to be done if we are able to get the exposed interface. These two projects decided to merge together, and Selenium 2 came into picture, which we know as the Selenium WebDriver. Eventually, by the time Selenium 3 released, the browser vendors also came into picture. W3C became a standard. Okay, so it's a standard now, and WebDriver is a standard, and the browser vendors took it on themselves that the web drivers will be provided by the browser vendors. Before that, Selenium project used to provide it, using which Selenium is able to talk to these browsers as an end user would. During all these transformations, the protocol through which Selenium was talking to the browser also changed, and now we are on a language neutral wire protocol. Selenium is now in version 4, soon there will be version 5. The characteristics are it is HTTP based and uses RESTful API. We basically have synchronous execution, which effectively means that there is a wait which happens for commands to get completed, which also means that in some situations we will find out that the timeout has occurred, which may result in failure of our scripts. But that is something we can control, or maybe there is an issue with an application or your network, or maybe the way you have coded. There is a cross browser support. It works with Chrome, Firefox, Safari, Edge, and there is an industry wide adoption. It is standardized since 2018. The limitations with the W3C standard protocol is that there is no real time event subscription or bidirectional communication, which another protocol which came into picture called as CDP, Chromium Developers Protocol, which we will now see, which try to solve it with the Chromium based browser. Now, Chromium is a browser engine, okay, and the browsers which are built over Chromium, like Chrome itself, like Edge, and I think Opera as well, they basically are Chromium based browser. The browser engine inside them is Chromium. For example, for Firefox, it's Gecko. So, in the CDP protocol, we had WebSocket based communication, which effectively meant that the communication did not stop. Once the socket connection is established, a client which is requesting information from the server can have event based subscription. It can subscribe to the browser, it can get real time network logs, it can get performance, it can get more control over that document object model at that snapshot. So it gained popularity, and tools like Puppeteer, Playwright came into picture. Um, you had JavaScript coverage and debugging and lot more advanced capabilities which the default W3C protocol was not able to give it to you. Henceforth, it's now uh, happening that these two protocols are also merging, and we basically are now having a WebDriver BiDi protocol which is being built as the next generation W3 standard, which combines the WebDriver cross-browser support, which CDP did not have. Okay, so for example, using the CDP protocol, we cannot talk to Firefox or Safari for say. So the W3C standard combines the BiDi combines W3C and CDP capabilities, and multiple projects, primarily Selenium, various browser vendors are coming together and working on making this open standard, which can be then adapted by the industry. So the features or the key features of the standard are that there has to be a bidirectional communication. Communication would be WebSocket based like CDP. You can subscribe to real time events, get console logs, network event. Uh, they're trying that has to have the cross browser standard because we would like it would be released as a W3C standard. So it has to be adopted by all major browsers, and there has to exist a backward compatibility so that people can use both WebDriver and BiDi as and when required. As of now, it is in development. It has not completely been built. There is a partial support which exists in Chrome Firefox, and basically Selenium 4 plus versions which are now available has some BiDi support feature, but it's not completed as such. One second, please. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Now, BiDi is positioned to become the unified standard for browser automation. So if we look at the WebDriver BiDi versus the HTTP protocol mechanism, in the HTTP protocol mechanism, we have a client and a browser, and there is supposed to be a request and response mechanism. Once the connection is established, it is not continuous, it gets terminated. So a request is sent, then a response is received, then another request is sent, and a response is received. So HTTP terminates connection after each service. But in the WebSocket type of communication, it allows the client and server to exchange data multiple times or several times until either component decides that now we would like to terminate. So, like, I have decided to terminate so that no more phone rings. I'm very sorry about that. So now, if we look at the protocol comparison, we have different features and we have different protocols which are available to us, and it shows us the comparison. So the communication in the WebDriver is still HTTP protocol, REST based, whereas CDP and BiDi goes to WebSocket based communication. The WebDriver is cross browser based. CDP is only Chromium based browsers, okay? And BiDi is supposed to be cross browser. Real time events, we cannot get information through WebDriver, but CDP and BiDi are supposed to solve it. Network interception console logs are dependent upon WebSocket communication, so no. Both WebDriver and CDP are comparatively stable. They're in a stable mode, but BiDi is still being built, so it's in progress. If you are interested, you can go to the W3C Consortium website or their GitHub repository, and you can find out there is a GitHub repo called as web applic, or there is a link where we say web platform test. It basically shows what type of features have been built and how the various browsers are behaving over these features, so as to give you a snapshot of the current progress happening. Now, the popular automation tools specifically in the world of open source are Selenium WebDriver, Playwright, Puppeteer, and Cypress. In all of them, Selenium WebDriver is a tool which is being built in open source model, and There are different organizations where people from those organizations are development partners to the Selenium WebDriver project. So there are committers to this project who work because their company is interested, and there are committers to this project who come because they like this project and they would like to invest their time and help build the next standard for browser automation. Playwright is backed by Microsoft, so there is a very powerful organization behind this project, and it basically automates the browser engine. It doesn't automate the web browser, so that's a significant difference in how Playwright works versus how Selenium works. At the same time, Selenium is a pure browser automation kind of tool, where Playwright is for testing. Then you have Puppeteer, which is based upon Chrome Dev Tools built by Google, and it is good for Chrome only automation. And lastly, we have Cypress, which basically is a tool which is good for developers. So while you are building the application, if as a developer you would like to see how exactly is your application behaving in browser, real time debugging, um, and developer friendly testing, Cypress is a tool for that. Again, it has got limited cross browser, and since it is only for uh, based for a good developer experience, there is no multi tab support or things like that. So depending upon your needs and requirement as to why would you like to do that, why would you like to automate the web browser, you should choose a tool. Having said that, this is the open source bucket. Commercial tools are also available. So if you are interested in your application to work across browsers and devices, Selenium is a good choice. For devices, you have another project, APM. Selenium is a parent project to APM, so they are generally combined together. And you have multiple programming languages support. Playwright is good for testing if you are aware that you would like to, test, you're okay with browser engine automation, and you would like to have a de facto, you don't want to build over it. So because it comes with testing integrated with it, it is a testing tool, Playwright. Puppeteer again is only Chrome and Chromium based. Now, whichever tool you pick to learn, if you would like to go ahead and do that, if browser automation is a space which excites you, if open source also is a place which excites you, then you have to ensure that uh, whatever knowledge which is required as far as web server, web clients, web pages are there, you'll have that. You understand HTML, CSS, JavaScript, DOM structures, you understand the protocols being used. Pick any one tool, whichever you would like to start your work with. You should also be comfortable with any programming language which the tool supports, and you can learn its different features and components. And then you can move on to advanced concepts, again, which depends on for what reason are you using this tool to automate your web browser. There are multiple resources which are available. There are web standard documents. You can go to the individual tools websites and you can go to the documentation section, and you can learn through that. You can pick out books. You can join the different Slacks or Discord channel where the teams are there to understand how the community is working. You can have a look at their GitHub repositories, kind of issues they have, YouTube videos or resources. There is a lot of information because it's been now more than 2 decades of tools like this being there in the industry. And with that, there is a small request that if we all know that we have one planet, so go ahead, plant a tree. Since I'm also a founder with Mosaic Words, which we work with Green Literature Publishing, that's a personal request to all of you. So, having said that, I have come to the end of this talk. So, if you have any questions, you can let me know. Meanwhile, you can type your questions. I will just share some links for you to explore. So we have a question: with the coming of AI browsers like Comet and Atlas, would this even be relevant couple years down the road? Yes, why not? Would the purpose of integrating AI with these browser is so that as a end user, you don't have to switch to another AI tool like Claude or ChatGPT, and through your browser only, you can your browsers become smart enough to understand what you want to do. But that doesn't mean that you would not want to test your application, right? I would still want to test my application even with Comet and Atlas. So I would say that there is more work now with these projects if building of these or integration of these tools and technologies impact how the web browser behaves. Yes, I would share this PPT with Aditya, and he can share with you all. That's all right, since I'm talking about open source world. The world of open source works with community and collaboration, so the knowledge is open and free here. Are AI browsers using Selenium component drivers for implementing their automated features? The browsers won't be using Selenium components or driver. Um, to automate these browsers, we would need tools like Selenium. So it is not about the browser being built. So browser vendors are separate who are building these browsers like Chrome, like Firefox guys, like Opera people, Safari people. These are the browser vendors who are providing you with the browsers. Tools like Selenium, um, Playwright, Puppeteer are there to automate that browser so that you automate that browser without any manual intervention. So, if I talk about commercial tools, there are tools like Apply Tools, and there used to be QTP, all renamed to UFT. I think it still exists. There was Rational Robo, um, Eggplant, and other similar tools. So if you have any other questions, you can let me know. I've shared some links with you guys. You can go ahead and explore them. And if you would like to connect to me over LinkedIn, feel free to do that. That's my LinkedIn profile. I have sent them in the chat. The links are there in the chat. Pin them. Okay, how do I pin them? Can I pin multiple? Okay, I'll do that. Pin this message. Pin the message. One more. I'll pin this message. You are interested in browser oriented programming? Sure, that's all right. Uh, okay. So,
Can I go ahead and ask a question?
yeah, sure. There is another thing while you ask, since we are on this topic, there is a very good talk which we did through Selenium community with Dorothy Graham. She is she is a pretty well-known name in testing. She has over more than 50 plus years of testing, so she has seen and done a lot. So I would request that go ahead and look at this talk so that you can understand the ecosystem which exists for browser and browser automation, specifically in testing. It's a good talk, it might help you. You can ask a question, whoever wanted to, please do.
Yes, actually, Anirudh just put my question in the chat.
Okay. What path would you suggest for Selenium committer who wants to start contributing to Selenium or other for open source tools? Well, I would suggest that just start. Okay, you have to start. You have to do it. It would be great if you are wanting to contribute to a FOSS project which you are using. Sometimes when we are using something and we find that this is a challenge, we might have solved it. Why not go back and do it at the project level so that other people who are facing similar issue would be able to get that help. Uh, you can help any open source project by contributing to the code. You can contribute to documentation. You can contribute by using it, by answering questions about it. So there are multiple ways through which you can contribute to any project of your choice. Have I answered your question or are you looking for more information?
I think those were all the questions.
Okay.
So thank you so much, Palvi, for this enlightening talk on browser automation. And I'm sure everybody here learned something. And I'll share the slides with everybody post this session.
Right, I
And
will mail you, Aditya.
thank you so much for joining, everyone, and very much grateful to you, Palvi, for this session. Thank
Thank,
you.
thank
Let's
you
wrap
for
it up.
thank you for the platform. Thank you everyone for joining on this evening. Have a good evening and all the best to all of you. Thank you very much.